Yeah. All right. Good morning, everyone. It's 7:32. Thanks to Tom Roofer. November 13th, 2020, we'll call this meeting of the Fergus Falls City Council to order. Roll call, please.
Fish.
Here.
Hickory.
Here.
Kwame.
Here.
Hooper.
Here.
Thompson.
Here.
Anderson is absent. Gustafson.
Here.
And Hicks is absent.
We have a quorum. Two items on the agenda this morning. First item is the resolution approving the canvassing of the 2020 general election results. And we'll call on our Chief Election Officer, Lynn Olson. Good morning, Lynn.
I like that. This is the end of the election. This is the last thing we have to do that we can put it behind us. So what we need you to do today is just adopt a resolution that you agree with the results. And as you see in the further back parts of this packet, where the numbers ended up. So just to reiterate, an undervote means that they decided not to vote for anybody. There was actually a few ballots that were cast that were completely blank. So why you would take the time to actually even go in the polling place and then cast a blank ballot, we don't know. The write-ins, not necessarily for any candidate. Mickey Mouse got a lot, Superman got some votes. It's really quite interesting. Some people wrote, one person actually wrote the words, some guy running for a writing office, but I can't remember his name. So
Yeah. He has strong following.
it's an interesting thing to follow when you get these results. But here's what we had here. Just really wanted to highlight two things. Is one, the voter turnout that we had is 89.71%. Ward 2 Precinct 2, 96.5% voter turnout.
Yeah, Ward 2 does well.
So if there was one point of the, about 7 o'clock on election night, there was only 50 spaces that hadn't been filled with names, either by absentee or voting in person. So very, very, very strong voter turnout. Absentee was high, it was about 50%. But remember, in Fergus Falls, absentee is going to be a lot higher because the Government Services Center is right in town. People weren't coming from New York Mills to go vote absentee as often as they did in Fergus Falls. So it was about 50%. So, and the other thing I really wanted to highlight is thanking the judges, because we need about 100 of them to make things work smoothly. I had 70 back out from September 1st on. We had 7 back out from Sunday until Tuesday morning for various reasons. And I'm really nervous what's going to happen the next week here as our COVID numbers are getting up there. But we just really wanted to thank all of the election judges, because a lot of them did it kind of maybe against their, I really don't want to let you down, but I'm really not sure. I mean, some of them did it reluctantly, but we really appreciate all of them. And they all had their training done. It was awesome. Everything was really, really good. So thank you to everybody that volunteers as a judge.
Lynn,
So,
I'd like to commend you for running a good election also.
thank you.
You're here.
It's
Absolutely.
a little bit of work and a lot of stress. I feel a little brave. It's all good.
No gray hairs.
Well, don't look too close, so. So that being said, so we just need a resolution adopting the election results, which would be Ben Shire for a 4-year mayor term, Jim Fish for a 4-year term as 1st Ward Council, Tom Roofer 4-year term as 2nd Ward Council, Brent Thompson 4-year term as 3rd Ward Council, and Anthony Hicks a 4-year term as 4th Ward Council.
Thank you, Lynn.
I would offer that resolution.
Jim,
I'll second.
Krista, thank you. Any discussion? If not, roll call, please.
Fish.
Yes.
Hickory.
Yes.
Kwame.
Yes.
Hooper.
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
Gustafson.
Yes.
Anthony's on it now.
Hicks.
Yes.
That resolution is approved. Next item on the agenda is a resolution approving the final CARES funding. And we will call on our Finance Director, Bill Sommer. Good morning, Bill.
Good morning. Thank you, Your Honor and Council. Before you have a memo, and those of you joining us over Zoom, we did email this out last night. A couple versions. We added a couple things to it right after I had hit send to you. So apologize for that, but you should have it in your possession. So we are looking for the final approval for our CARES funding. The city of Fergus Falls received 1,035,000, let's see, look on my memo here so I get the number exactly right, $1,035,703. We also earn interest on those funds while we've been holding them and expending them of $7,439.79, which we treat that the same as the CARES funding. So any of the federal regulations follow the interest earnings as well. We recall the requirements for expending those funds needed to be a necessary expense due to COVID-19, not accounted for in this 2020 budget, and then incurred between March 1st and November 15th. We're before you today because we want to have that final approval of all the expenditures prior to November 15th. We have a council meeting, of course, Monday night, but that is the 16th. So you're going to see the final page in your packet is that list of bills. You're going to see that are actually on the resolution of accounts for Monday night, and then also some that are coming through the credit card process. But I do want your approval of all that today, as well as the final allocation of the funds. That has changed slightly from where we were at. If you recall, we had an allocation of $475,000 for city expenditures, $540,000 for small business, nonprofit healthcare, and $20,000 for education and childcare. We were going to use that $20,000 for the micro grants. We didn't have that many applications, so we rolled the unexpended funds of those back into the businesses and nonprofits and healthcare. The interest earnings went into the city portion. We had $703, the tail end of what we had received there as rounding, that went into the city. And we wound up with one $500 grant that wound up not being eligible, so that rolled back into the city as well. So that's where we see that, you take where the city started at 475 plus the interest earnings, plus that rounding of 703, plus the $500 then of that wound up being ineligible for one of the, I think it was a child care provider. So before you, we have a list of expenditures today of $116,090.88 that we're asking for approval for, and then that final allocation as well.
Thank you, Bill.
I would offer that.
We have a resolution. Caroline, questions? Scott?
And so, Bill, this 116,000 is what hasn't been approved already out of that 483. We've already approved 300 and some along the way.
Correct, along the way. And also, we are applying, within those city dollars, is covering some public safety wages. By law, we could use 100% of public safety wages to be covered through this, which we would have actually expended the entire $1 million on just public safety. Obviously, we didn't do that, but we are funding some, and that flows through our payroll process and approved through there. So this is the final list of bills that need approval today.
Any other questions? Roll call, please.
Fish.
Yes.
Pickford.
Yes.
Conley.
Yes.
Rupert.
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
Gustafson.
Yes.
Hicks.
Yes.
That resolution is approved. Thank you, Bill.
And one final comment on that, I want to thank the Tax Levy Committee for working so hard to go through all of this with us. The process really went quite well for the city, and I'm glad we're here today, meeting our deadline, able to put all those funds to work. And then I really want to thank Sandy Cunningham, who really led this effort and kept track of all this. Would have been lost without her, so we really give her the credit. I know when the auditors come in, it's going to be great. She has everything put together in several binders, probably I almost had one binder, but to be able to work directly with the auditors, and I think every question will be answered well. So just
Yeah.
really appreciative for all her work.
Absolutely. And to you, Bill, to Finance Director Sandy, Clara, her work on this as well. It's everyone
Yes.
is, from the Tax Levy Committee, it was a real pleasure to work through this process and be able to help out so many businesses and nonprofits. So thanks to both of you and to Clara. Tom?
I'll just jump on that on the campaign trail over and over again. I raved about our finance department and how you guys make it a lot easier to do our job. So thank you very much. We sure appreciate it.
Thank you for your support, and I'm glad you mentioned Clara. She really did a lot. She worked individually with those businesses. Lisa Workman from the Chamber helped a lot of businesses fill out their applications, you know, getting through that process, so she was very helpful as well, too. We sure appreciate that. Thanks.
Thank you. Thanks so much. And with that, we are adjourned.